This is how to get all 5 new DLC Katana weapons in Shadow of the Erdtree. That includes 3 Great Katanas, which is a new weapon type that they just added, and a couple of other unique katanas with really awesome effects, such as the Sword of Night, which everyone's been going crazy about. We'll be explaining exactly how you get that in this video. So if you're ready to get started, drop a like on the video and we'll begin. The first katana on our list is the Great Katana. Now, if you're just starting, you'll be at the Gravesite Plain, Site of Grace, and you need to start riding north towards this lake. Now, obviously, if you're a little bit further into the DLC, you'll have a bunch of other graces unlocked, so you just need to get to the lake by whatever path suits you best. When you get to the lake, you'll find this massive dragon in the water, and whatever you do, do not fight the dragon. I'm not about to tell you to fight a boss you don't need to fight, okay? Instead, all you've got to do is look out for this body that's next to the dragon, and when you interact with it, you'll be given the Great Katana. Now, this is actually one of the worst katanas in the DLC. I've got a separate video ranking all the katanas worst to best. It's linked on screen right now if you want to take a look, but for the time being, we're going to move on to the next katana, which is the Star-Lined Sword. To start with, for this one, we're going to be setting sail from the castle front, except we're riding a horse. I don't know why I said setting sail. And you're going to want to take the path that I'm showing you on screen now, heading southeast and pathing through a lot of the trees and just ignoring the enemies on the way. You'll then get to a cliff, which you can see here, and you need to path all the way down this cliff, all the way to the bottom where this pink flower is, and then ride past it into the cave and ride all the way through, hugging the left side while you do this. That will then open up into a larger area, and you just need to do some horse parkour all the way through this entire section. And then when you've kind of crossed that little middle bridge bit that's there and you've done some more horse parkour, you'll finally get to the very bottom of this area, and you'll know you're at the bottom because there's like some water basically down there. And then you just need to ride towards the fire giant and then stay right here and go up the hill, and that's going to lead you to the Cerulean Coast, where there's a Site of Grace which you can grab. And for the record, if you already have this Site of Grace unlocked, you can just teleport to this instead to begin the Star-Lined Sword quest. Once you're in the Cerulean Coast, go to the right and keep riding for a while, hugging the tree line. And then after you get past this large stone structure, sort of between these two structures, you can take a sharp right and start heading inland. And that's going to lead you between 2 cliff faces towards a waterfall. Hang left and you'll be able to loop around here, and then push forwards, dodging the enemies, and sort of tend towards the right-hand side as well. And you'll open up into this new beachy area. And there are several enemies on the coast, but there's only one of them that we care about right now, and that's this troll queen dog thing. And as soon as you kill it, all the other enemies in the area will de-aggro, and you'll be rewarded with the Star-Lined Sword. For the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, we are going to be once again starting at the castle front Site of Grace, and you then need to head southeast, and you'll find yourself on this dirt path. Follow the path through the trees, you'll get to this little fork, stay on the right-hand side there, and then keep going, riding through the graves, and you'll see this tower in the distance, and we're going to go to the right of it, and then there are all these small dragon statues, and you basically need to ride in a straight line through those until the path starts bending a little to the left, and at that point, you'll notice a cave with a little fire in it, and you're going to go into the cave. The cave itself is called the Dragon's Pit. You can tag a Site of Grace in there, and you then want to continue down to this ledge, hop off, and push through this tunnel. Then when you get through, stay on the left-hand side and go through this next tunnel entrance, and then you're going to jump down through this little hole in the wall, and then do a 180 and go through the tunnel that's behind you. You then need to run towards this kind of mausoleum type area, and there's a big hole in the ground, and you're going to jump in it because it's not going to kill you. It's actually what you need to do. That will take you to a boss fight. You can turn around there, grab yourself a little item, and then it's boss fighting time. The boss is Ancient Dragon Man, who has the weapon that we are after here. And he's not too hard to take down. I would just say try and stagger him as much as you can. That's probably going to make your life easier. And once you take Ancient Dragon Man down, you will receive the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana. Our next katana is Rakshasa's Great Katana, and this one requires us to access a secret area. Now, in order to progress with this quest, we will need the Shadow Keep unlocked, and we're going to go to the Shadow Keep main gate to kick things off here. If this is your first time here, you're going to need to kill a boss inside, but once you've done that, or if you're just returning a separate time, head to the left of that area, go all the way through these doors, up these stairs, and just past all the enemies there. And as you head up the steps here into this room on the right, just be careful because there's an enemy that's going to be firing arrows at you, and it's a pain in the butt, and then there's a guy that's going to be heavy attacking, and it's all crazy. So just be extra careful. You don't want to get trapped. Push through, you can ignore them and get out onto this rooftop. Then once you're outside, turn right, head past all the flaming boats here, and on the left side you'll find a ladder which you can climb down. Then go up to the waterfall, and you've played a video game once or twice in your life, you know what's gonna happen here. There's a room behind the waterfall, and it contains a ladder which you need to climb down. Once you make it to the bottom, there is a painting that you'll find in the back corner, and you can grab it, but once you've done that, head over to this wall. In your game, this wall is gonna be solid, it's not gonna look like what I've got on my screen here, and you're going to need to hit it with your weapon in order to unlock it. Once it's open, run through, run all the way down, and rest in this coffin. It's going to play a little cutscene for you, and you'll then end up in the mystery secret location I mentioned a moment ago. Once you get out there, start heading southeast, and just be careful not to ride over this fire dude, because he's just going to mess your day up otherwise. And then once you get to the waterfall here, stay on the left side and just traverse over the kind of cliff edges that are sticking out. And be careful because you can fall to your death here. There are gaps in these, so just jump over those for sure. You'll need to go from the cliff faces on the left-hand side and actually cut across and hop across rather to the right-hand side at one point as well. And then you just need to ride for 15 more seconds or so, and you'll get to this area where you can see the spiky rocks in the distance. We're going to head down some of the cliffs here, but then we want to be very, very careful to make sure that we drop onto the platforms that I'm showing you in the gameplay here. There are other platforms in the game that we want to avoid, okay? We don't want to go to the far ones, we want to stay to the close ones and drop down exactly where I'm showing you. And if you've done this correctly, you should be on top of this waterfall. You don't want to be all the way at the bottom, you want to still be on top of it. Then do a 180, run back into the cave here, and immediately cut to the right-hand side, and then push through towards this mausoleum. At the bottom of it, you've got a gate that you can go through, and you'll then need to fight Rakshasa. And surprise, surprise, Rakshasa has the weapon that we are trying to get. So you're going to need to take out Rakshasa, being very careful of all of those katana attacks. And you also need to be wary of the fact that if Rakshana's attacking, you're not going to be able to break their stance. So just keep that in mind as you fight here. But the good news is that if they're not attacking, it makes it really easy to stun them. So take Rakshasa down, and once that's done, you'll receive Rakshana's Great Katana. You'll also get an armor set, so added bonus for this one. Our next katana is the Sword of Night, and this one is freaking awesome, and so you're definitely going to want to get this, but I would recommend getting the other katanas first because they're kind of better for opening up various areas of the map here, getting graces unlocked, stuff like that. But this one is just a more in-depth quest, and so it's a really useful one to have more graces unlocked for to save you traveling time. And speaking of traveling time, we want to start off here at the Fort of Reprimand. So if you don't know how to get there, you don't have the graces unlocked, etc., I've actually got a really in-depth video breaking down all of the pathing and traveling you need to do in order to get this sorted. But assuming you have the Fort of Reprimand unlocked, I'm going to show you how to go ahead and get yourself this katana now. So from the main courtyard of the Fort of Reprimand, we're going to go forwards and jump in this hole. Then turn around and fight the beastie baddie inside, and that's going to drop you the Iris of Occultation, which we're going to need for the end of the quest. From the Fort of Reprimand, you've got to go to the Morth Ruins, which you can get to by just going north here along this path and then heading to the right-hand side. And once you're there, you're going to see all of these kind of broken structures, and you're going to want to go amongst those, following where I go in the gameplay here, and starting to drop down into the underground. Once you drop all the way down, go left into the cave, and you'll see a ladder at the end of the cave, and you need to climb up that ladder. This will take you to Bonnie Village, and then you need to go northeast to this place I just marked on the map to pick up this emote next to this tree. When you get there, equip the emote as well, just to save yourself some time, and then you need to follow the path that I'm showing you on the map just here. So we're going across those bridges you can see on the map and arching all the way around here towards this massive cathedral. Once you get to the cathedral entrance, you'll see there is a site of grace that you can tag, and after you grab it, keep pushing into the cathedral and talk to this NPC, Ymir. When you do that, he's going to give you some items, and you then need to port back to the Cerulean coast that I showed you earlier in the video. This time, instead of going right, we're going left. And you're going to ride along for a while until you start going up this hill here, and you'll see this stone structure in front of you on the left-hand side. Turn left before that stone structure and start heading down the kind of corridor that it forms, and that will take you to the coast. You then just need to ride along the coast for a little bit and then head to the left and start going up the stone kind of platform on the floor here, and then cut to the right to the finger ruins of Rhea. All the finger ruins in the finger ruins of Rhea are pointing towards this central area, which is kind of a finger henge. So push into the center of all of those fingers and you'll find a bell inside which you can ring. And when you do that, it will give you an item. Then teleport back to the cathedral and talk to Ymir once more. You'll be given more items by doing that. And then we're going to teleport to the Church District High Road. You can see it here on your map if you don't have that unlocked. Once you teleport in, go forwards and to the right, and you're going towards this archway set into the mountain, and you then need to go into that archway all the way up the stairs, and you'll find a site of grace. Then you're going to copy what I'm doing, jumping across the roofs here. So jump onto the roof, be wary of the enemies, you don't need to attack the enemies, and then use this little triangle point to hop onto the next roof, and then climb the bricks and jump across, and then jump onto the next roof there, and then finally jump onto this long structure which you can use to climb up to the top of this roof. Then jump through the hole in the ground onto this little walkway structure thingy, and then in front of you you'll see another hole in the ground which you can jump through, and you can then just run past all of these enemies and take the second entrance on the left, and that's going to lead to a walkway with a lift inside it which you can take to the top floor. That's the specimen storehouse. Then take an immediate left when you get there, run through, tag this site of grace, and then climb up this ladder. At the top of the ladder, head to the right and push through round the back of this kind of bookcase area and hop in this little hole in the wall, and then climb all the ladders on the outside of the building here. That's going to take you back inside, and there's another site of grace, and there's also another lift which you can take. When you get to the top of that, head to the left hand side and cross the beams as I'm showing you in the gameplay here, and then climb up this ladder, and then keep progressing over all of the beams and drop down onto this cog. You might want to kill the Zubat that's there in front of you just to make sure it doesn't kill you, but you're then going to jump across to the beams again, and then you're going to jump down right here where I'm indicating on the screen. Then you're going to head outside once more, and there's another little lift which you can take, and then some walkways, and that'll lead to a final lift which is going to take you all the way down. At the bottom, you'll find a site of grace, and then you need to take a right, and you'll see this little statue thing, and you need to use your Oh Mother emote that you just grabbed in front of it, and that's going to open it up, and you can then head inside the room and down the slope into this lovely Skaduvu area, grab the site of grace there, and then follow the path that I'm showing you in the gameplay here across the bridge and all the way through to this area. It's another finger ruins area called the Finger Ruins of Dio, and it's a similar deal. We're basically heading towards the center of where all those finger ruins are pointing, and in the center of all those finger ruins there's another bell that we can ring, and when we do so it gives us another talisman. Then TP back to the cathedral and talk to Ymir once more. Exhaust all of his dialogue when you do this, and then go back to the site of grace and reset the area. Then when you go back to his chair, he'll be gone, and you'll be able to interact with his little throne, and it will open up into a new area which you can go inside. When you do that, there'll be a little enemy down there that you'll need to take out. You'll get some claws or something, but that's not really interesting to us right now. We want the katana, so you're going to need to keep pushing along this pathway and then ring the next bell. That will teleport you into a boss fight. I'm blurring on the screen right now to avoid spoiling what the boss is, so this is your spoiler warning. Skip ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to see it. So this is the boss. Took me a couple of attempts to take it down, but once I did so, that's going to give you an item, and then you're just going to run back, grab the site of grace there, and then go back to the cathedral. Inside, you'll run up to the throne, you'll turn around, you'll see that there is a new enemy that you need to take out, and once that's done, go back to the throne, and you'll be able to fight Ymir this time, and I recommend getting up close and personal with him. It's just going to make your life easier, and once Ymir is taken down, you'll get a bunch of outfit stuff, which is great, but it's still not quite the katana. We're nearly there, though. Then go and rest at your site of grace, and then come back and re-enter the room on the right hand side and talk to this little woman that's just here and give her the Iris of Occultation to get yourself the katana that you've been looking for. If this video has been useful, drop a like and consider subscribing for more Elden Ring guides in the future.